Hello everyone, I hope you are doing well. So, in this video, we are going to work on automation with DeepSeek, and this time we will be working with version R1. As you know, today this artificial intelligence, this intelligence model has proven itself by making a lot of progress, and above all, it is free. When compared with OpenAI's products or even Google's products, this intelligence in several fields on multiple benchmarks has been the best. What is the idea? The idea is to try to use the R1, which is an advanced reasoning mode, to automate tasks. And to do it, we cannot do it directly on the DeepSeek site, but we can do it through another automation software. And you will see it's a software that has a free version where you can create a scenario. And for those, of course, who want to create multiple scenarios, they can opt for the paid version. I would like to introduce our tool to you. So what's the idea behind the tool? First, it connects to multiple artificial intelligences. It's not just DeepSeek. But recently, with the latest update, it just added DeepSeek R1. And a few weeks ago, it had DeepSeek V3. But of course, we know that the R1 is much more advanced. So alongside Facebook's products, there are also products from Google, OpenAI, AWS, and Mistral. So we just added DeepSeek. So what does the system do? It uses that artificial intelligence to process a huge amount of data, to prepare responses, to create chatbots, quiz, and so on. And what's very interesting is this. It's that in automation, we don't only need AI, but we also need to use several software programs to integrate them, like Google's products. For example, I do an automation, and at the end, I send an email, or I create a report, and then I want to send that report back in Excel format. So as a result, we use several products, Microsoft, Google, and so on. And this tool, it's called VectorShift. It's a tool that will allow us to use integration and the use of AI. This is the website, so VectorShift. You can create an account here for free, but I would like to show you a little bit about the payment process, how it works. It offers a first version that allows you to create practically anything. So we can test creating a scenario, we can make a chatbot, and we can have a storage space of 1 gigabyte. The first version, I think it's very interesting for those who want to test to see if it meets their needs or not. It is not time limited, but you can create it to test what we call the workflow. Today, when we talk about a scenario, we talk about a workflow where there is the exchange of data and information. They also offer a premium version for $20. There's also a pro version for $100. There are other versions, of course. If you look here, you can even request to have specific versions for those who have a lot of traffic. And for us, we will just start with the free version. Before starting the video, I wanted to introduce myself. My name is Fieras. I am a doctor in artificial intelligence, and I am a professor at the university. So if this is the first time you are watching my video, I invite you to subscribe here because I publish every day trainings, practical guides, tutorials on the latest in artificial intelligence and digital marketing. And for those who are subscribed, I wanted to give them a little gift. It's exclusive access to my pack of 100 courses. So do you find it? In the descriptions of this video, you will find the link to my e-learning platform with a special coupon, and it will give you access to 100 courses. So there are approximately more than 6,000 of videos in various fields. Marketing, artificial intelligence. So what are you waiting for to start? And now I wish you good training. So just a short video to understand the mechanism of this platform. It's an automation platform called VectorShift. It's a platform that is no code, so we won't need to type lines of code. It's just about creating modules and scenarios. It's a bit like Make.com, but this one is well known for its use of AI integrated within. And you will see, in fact, the use of AI is very, very easy here. We can call upon the model in a much simpler way than Make.com. So I'll just show you a little preview, actually, to understand the main uses. You will see that here, for example, if I ask, in fact, to perform a task, to create an email, or to call upon external applications, external CRMs, the system is capable, as soon as I submit my request, it is capable of processing that request, and especially of launching other scenarios afterwards. For example, as you can see here, we see the result on the VectorShift site. You can, of course, activate it by taking, for example, discussions that come from Zoom. It can create a report, make a summary, and even save it, as you can see here on Notion. It can even send information via email. And that, in fact, is what makes this tool powerful. It handles integration and automation. And of course, in parallel, you see this type of report is generally created with AI. So it's a combination of AI and the use and integration of tools. This is what sometimes we, as humans, if we do it separately. That is to say, we use AI alone and then we go into the software to copy paste, to send an email, to input the AI result. And if in this tool, somehow it allows for this automation, look at that. It is even capable of filling out Excel files. It can do much more than that. It checks, it processes information, it adds data here, it can perform calculations and everything. By using AI, and as you see there, the exercise note of AI, when you open, for example, DeepSeek or ChatGPT, you make the request and then it will give you the result. Imagine that this result is updated, it updates Excel files, and that's what's really powerful about this tool. So you understand, it's an intermediary, it's an AI agent that allows for integrations and connecting with multiple software. As you can see here, there is also a very important piece of information called the knowledge base. What is the knowledge base? It's that you can provide a knowledge base, for example, related to your company. You provide information. And thanks to this information, you will see it here. This is what we will test later, of course. It can use your own knowledge base to respond to emails, to view the chatbot, to use this data. And this knowledge base, you will create it with PDFs, with presentations, even with your email or even content from YouTube. So as a result, you create your own knowledge base and you will see that the result is really very precise, very specific. The same thing today we find, for example, with ChatGPT or DeepSeek. It means that when I open the browser, I give it my knowledge base. I can create this knowledge base. But with this tool, this knowledge base, you can share it with many AI, not just with a single AI. If I move forward a little here, you will see that there it sends emails, it searches the database, it connects with other software to respond to your emails, to schedule appointments for you. So really, it's a tool, very, very easy and simple to use. So I simply leave you to create, therefore, the free account so that we can simply, in fact, create a scenario. This is roughly the scenario that we will create together. It's a scenario that will create a chatbot that is actually capable of responding, or anyone who is actually subscribed to my YouTube channel. So this one is a bit of the result we will achieve, but we will create it from A to Z with a simple step-by-step guide. So here I am in my back office. You should know that here on the right side, there are the sections. The most important is the first one, the pipelines. The pipelines are simply, in fact, the scenarios. Here is the knowledge base. So we talked about that. Here in the knowledge base, in fact, I can create multiple knowledge bases, connect them to my scenarios, because I can have multiple knowledge bases if I am going to work for several companies, for example, or multiple clients, or if I have several projects. Here is the chatbot section, which is very interesting. The version we are using now is a free version, and this free version allows me to create one chatbot, just one. And there is also the voice bot section. That one as well. In fact, I can create voice chatbots. And finally, we have the files section where I can save all my files. So it's very simple. We will start by clicking on pipeline. Here we will click on new pipeline. It's important to know that I am allowed to create only one with the free version. And here they provide you with what are called ready-made scenarios that you can also use with several integrations. But for us, we will simply click on create pipeline here to be able to create a pipeline from A to Z. Our goal is to create a chatbot. It will be able to respond to my clients and especially to my subscribers on my YouTube channel. So we will direct it towards the YouTube channel. And you will see that here I can really prepare something very, very sophisticated. Let's go. So now I'm in my pipeline. And you will see that here I can set what we call the inputs and outputs. Of course, I will always need an input. This is to actually input the information into my chatbot, as well as the output. Don't worry. Later, we will configure this input and output. Always a scenario. It has an input, it has an output. So as soon as I enter, I prepare these two pieces of information. Of course, here you will see that in this section, you have the LM tab here where I can simply connect all the artificial intelligences available on the market, or rather those that VectorShift uses. Well, it's true that there are some that aren't here, like Queen, for example, but that's a bit. So the LMs, the models, which are the most well-known on the market. If I want to call on DeepSeek, and it's simply a matter of clicking here to actually bring in that model, and you'll see there, it's already been automatically selected. It's the DeepSeek R1, so that's a bit of a novelty. Before we had the V3, now we have the R1 reasoning model. And that's really very, very interesting. That means now I can actually use the API of DeepSeek automatically with our VectorShift and software. You saw here, there's the possibility to use your own API if you have an API DeepSeek. Unfortunately, the DeepSeek APIs are a bit complicated to obtain because DeepSeek sometimes opens, sometimes closes the use or rather the purchase of credits on the APIs. But here, quite simply, I select it and I simply have here, you understand, my connected information. That means here, if I look at the first scenario, I have inputs. For example, if I want to create the chatbot, I enter a question, it will call upon the DeepSeek artificial intelligence. DeepSeek will return the information on the output. That means the person will simply see their output. I also like to finish with a little tour of the tools I can use. You'll see here I can add a module called GBase. And this is very important. We will talk about knowledge base to understand the importance of connecting with a knowledge base. So here I will click on knowledge base. So I just added a knowledge base. Let's just reduce the table a little to better see the model, the scenario. There you go. This is the knowledge base. So what is a knowledge base? It's simply, by the way, I will click here to create a new knowledge base. I will give it a name. What shall we call it? Knowledge base. We will call it YouTube or a channel or whatever you want. You type whatever you want here. I am creating a knowledge channel. So what is a knowledge base? Here I can upload a PDF file or any type of information to Excel where it contains specific data. That's why I'm going to create a chatbot. If someone asks it, for example, what are your rates? So even if it uses artificial intelligence, it cannot know the rates at which you sell. However, if it has a PDF where there are presentations, quotes, or information, in fact, at that moment, it will find the information and return it. So a chatbot, for example, when I enter a company and I have the chatbot, if I ask questions, for instance, I enter an online bank's website, I find the chatbot. If I ask a question about how to recover the password, it should send me the exact information on that platform to show me exactly how to do it. I don't want who gives me very general information. No, I really want it to give me specific links. If I ask it how to get a loan, then I want it to ask me specific questions because according to it, it has criteria that it will find, or on the knowledge base, it's not on the internet. And you will see that here I can even within the knowledge base integrate other tools. I can, for example, tell it your knowledge base is all the emails I receive in my inbox, email, and take, for example, all the sent emails. So as a result, it will understand a little bit how you respond to emails. And for it, that's the knowledge base. For example, I can use this if I want to create, for instance, a model that will automatically respond to my emails using DeepSeek. And I also wanted to take into account my already sent emails. The knowledge base contains a vast amount of data. I can connect it with a Notion database. I can connect it with Excel, meaning Google Sheet. I can actually provide it with information about my calendar. Imagine I want to create a system that allows people to schedule appointments automatically. So in that case, it can also be interesting. There are a lot of connections. I can do it as you see here, or I can choose not to go in that direction. Upload an Excel file if I want. And there too, there's even the option Skype URL. I can give it the URL of my website because I know that on my site, for example, there is the FAQ, everything related to questions and answers. And I say that it's very important for it to refer back to that link. As a result, I give it the ability to view and retrieve all the data and information on my website. So if I go back to my pipeline, I return here. Imagine that I have my knowledge base. We are not going to develop it too much yet, but here we have created one that is active, selected, and I can simply use it. So here, what do I have? I have an input. I have the use of artificial intelligence. Here, I will also connect it to the knowledge base. I also have an output. Now, what interests me is that we are going to configure it together, this artificial intelligence, to set instructions and to set a prompt. And obviously, thanks to this, when we call on DeepSeek, DeepSeek will be ready to receive data, information, and it knows its prompt so that it can know exactly what it will return as a result. So let's go. Here, in fact, we are going to put the instructions into the system. So we are going to tell DeepSeek, then obviously we are working with the DeepSeek model, which is a chatbot agent that will assist on my YouTube channel. So here I have given the name of my channel and I wanted to create content for each response that will be sent here. So as a result, I give it the subject of my channel, which talks about hierarchy. And there it will simply create very simple responses. And look, here it will also take into account the history, because in the chatbot, we need to keep the record. I can't start with a chatbot, for example, on the internet, in banking. At the beginning, it asks me questions, in fact, about the type of my account. And then it gives me information that has nothing to do with the account type. What does that mean? It means that it's as if it's not actually memorizing the account information. That's why in the chatbot, you will see that here, we will go here. In fact, discard other information. You will see here, there is what we call the chat. When I come here, there is what we call chat memory. So the chat memory, we will need it. So I will leave it here on the side. You will see how we will connect it. So consequently, DeepSeek must obviously take into account everything that is historical. And now the prompt. So what, we have a question. That question, it's simply there. So in order to connect it with this input, which is text, I need to use two curly braces. There you go here. So there. I use two curly braces. I select input. As you can see there, here it's text. So text format. Afterwards, so of course, the context. There, in terms of context, I will tell him that the context, in fact, is my knowledge base. Because in this knowledge base, there is the context, in fact, of my chatbot, my domain, my information regarding my channel and everything. So here I will put, in fact, two braces, the same thing. And there I will select knowledge base. And so there in this knowledge base, I retrieve the information in this way. So as a result, I just threw the knowledge base. And also we have the history. So the history, it will simply take the information related to this chat memory. So to always, therefore always, I do one brace here, two braces. I select chat memory. There you go. I take the text information. If you notice there, here, it just connected all three. So there, you go to DeepSeek. So if I look a little closer, I can still reduce the size a bit. So you will see that here, these three are the inputs. Here I have my DeepSeek. And there, of course, I have the output. There. The DeepSeek is ready to execute and simply do the work. It will receive a question from the input. It will take into account everything that is historical, in case there is a conversation that we have already started. And it will also take into account the knowledge base. So, of course, the database, when it will provide information here to DeepSeek, it will not give all the information. It also needs what we call a prompt to filter the information that it will send back to DeepSeek. And generally here, we will use two braces for the information that will be filtered. It will actually be the information from our input, which is this question here. So here we will look for input. It will be, of course, look here, I'm doing it again. So I use two braces. And I take input text, of course, in text format. So there it's already ready. So here I have my system ready to send. So it retrieves. Look at this circuit here. It will retrieve here. So the question in iPod, it will select the right information, the information related to the question. And then it will send psi, only psi, as of course it will use or not. So now here we have our output. So the output, in fact, it will simply take the information that will be sent by the model So here I click here and there you go. So now let's raise it a little bit. So when I put 2 braces, you will see, so there I simply have the output information. Of course, there are several types of information regarding token information and all, but for me, that's just what interests me. The output of the LLM, as you see here, is actually a text. So here I have my model that is ready to be actually deployed in a simple way. And to deploy the system, you will see, and here, in fact, deploy, change. I click, I can give a name actually. So if I want OK to my chat box, I click on deploy. And so as a result, it will try to run. So it has been recorded successfully. I can click here on Ye, go to export, and I want to export it in chatbox mode. And you will see here, I will give the chatbot a name. I will call it like actually. And you will see that here the chatbot, I can create it. It has its input, it has its output. All I have to do here is click here on create chatbot so it can generate the chatbot for me. The chatbot, I can customize it. You will see that here on the design side, I can work on the styles. On the avatar, I can provide a photo. So here it just took a default photo like this, but I can really go very, very far with the customization of the chatbot. And for me, what interests me, I can of course add welcome messages. I can even block messages. The way it will display information, I can display it in this manner, like Facebook Messenger. That is to say, the person's question, it has my response. In any case, there are quite a few settings. So here you can, your welcome message, the welcome message, if there is an error, right? So then here, it's on the visual side, it's on the display side, but this chatbot, I can of course export it and use it if you want in mode. First, I can test it here, okay? Also, I can retrieve it in a link where I can integrate it into my website if I want. So for the export, you will see that here I have the possibility to export it. There you go, take the link, and just as I can integrate it into my website, I can also connect it with Slack. I can even use it. The countries here exporting, thus the use with the bill. There are even configurations available for WhatsApp and SMS to connect this chatbot with WhatsApp. So really, the possibilities for using chatbots are enormous with this tool. But now my chatbot is already ready. So there you go. We are going to try to ask a few questions to this chatbot. We will open it to test it. So for the test, we can do it. Even here, when we click on one, there is the chatbot. So I click here on chatbot and you will see that here at the bottom. In fact, there is the part where I can ask the question here if I want to test it quickly. So here, my chatbot, I will say to it, for example, hello, and you will see that it will actually display the reasoning. I can, of course, ask it not to display it, but since I'm using L1, I would like to see how it thinks. So there, when I gave it hi, it will go look for that in the context, and in the context, it's empty. It's normal. The knowledge base has absolutely no information. So as a result, it will try to search in the history. And then when it finds nothing in the history, at that point, it will simply propose an answer to that question in a friendly manner. And you will see that it will tell me, welcome, Dr. Firas. If I ask it another question, for example, here I ask it what types of videos are created by my channel. So here the same thing. So it went to check the part of context. There is nothing there. Then it went to look in the historical information. If there is historical information, it found that there is no history that has been made. So there is no prior interaction. Therefore, it will respond with I don't know when you see it. So since I asked it, if you don't know, you send I don't know. These pieces of information, you have understood how it works and how it operates. The one responding here is simply a psyche, but it calls upon the context and history of the conversation. It's exactly like here, what I asked it to do. I can ask it not to respond with the reasoning mode and to display only the result without the reasoning. It's possible to do that. But what is very interesting, the R1 is the most powerful today from DeepSeek. On the free version, you have up to $1 of API usage, which is more than enough to thoroughly test your chatbot to have the most efficient chatbot. You can, of course, add several integrations here. For example, at the end of the chat, I can ask it, in fact, here to send me, for example, an email. Send email here. Of course, I need to connect my Google account here and have it send me an email with the entire conversation. Either the email, I can send it to myself, I can send it here to the person. If I ask them from the beginning here to provide or enter their email address so that I can start the conversation with them. So there are a lot of integrations that you have the possibility to do here. And it's really very, very advanced. So you can even actually go with integrations on social networks. There are also actually on CRMs. What is very, very well known here are the CRMs actually. So there you have it. This is our operational pipeline, which I can test. And there you go. We have successfully managed to create our chatbot. Generally, what remains to be done is to completely feed the database so that the artificial intelligence receives this information and can provide me with a very, very specific output. So please let me know in the comments if you would like us to make another video here on our VectorShift tool. Automation, a scenario for automatic response to comments on social networks. That means, for example, on LinkedIn or Instagram or even Facebook. Do you want us to create a small scenario where DeepSeek will prepare the response automatically and publish it to the people who comment on our post? There is also the possibility to delete as well. There is, of course, the possibility to use a knowledge base where it will simply draw inspiration from your field. The knowledge base can be enriched with the old posts you have made or from your website. So just write in the comments, social media, automation. If many of you request it, I will create a video specifically on that. Thank you. Thank you for watching this video. So if you have any questions, feel free to write to me in the comments. I do my utmost to answer all your questions. Thank you. And if you like the video and want to see the latest updates, feel free to subscribe to my channel. I thank you very much and see you soon.